Good afternoon, Visayas. I am your reporter, Joshua Aljanardabon, and here with me is Lisa Winkley. Your favorite hosts are back and more ready than ever to bring you the freshest, the hottest, and the most important news that you need to know for today.
You've got that right, Yosha. Just remember, debit man or credit, ipaglalaban ka pa ulit-ulit.
Well, with that being out of the way, dear viewers, it has certainly been a while. As such, let's cut to the chase and get to the point without further ado. To begin, we have the baffling case, the gracious, gratuitous title, acquiring bad faith in the things alienated, action to claim rescission, voidable contracts, ratification, extinguishing the action to annul a voidable contract, ratification once again, asset ratification, and ratification by the guardian of the incapacitated person.
Followed by ratification and conformity, watch out the cleansing of the Voidable Contract Retro Act, action for the annulment of contracts, obligation annulled, defect of the contract consists in the incapacity of one of the parties, person obliged unable, action for annulment of contracts, party cannot restore what he is bound to return, and phew, that surely was a lot of exciting titles.
You couldn't be more correct, Alisa. Today's batch of news reports has me on the edge of my seat with excitement and anticipation. And I'm sure that our viewers agree, so without much further ado, let's get started with the Judgmental Judge Joseph series for our first report of the day. Therese is reporting live from the BBC studio. Therese, please keep us updated on what's going on at the moment.
Hey Joshua, we're currently live at the recent episode shooting of the Judgmental Judge Joseph series, and the folks from BBC just allowed us to take a sneak peek of this new and baffling case. I mean, baffling, you could say, because you're not gonna believe this. Attorney Tannen is now the defendant.
Your Honor, my client Bogertron legally entered in a contract of guardianship declaring that in his death, I should be the guardian of his son Lee, who was then a minor, and should administer the sale of their property in Tarlac, with the proceeds to be used for Lee's college trust. The deed was approved by the court even if the 2 million peso property was sold for only 1 million pesos because the fair value of said property was appraised to be lower than its original amount. Further, Article 1386 prevents rescissions for contracts approved by the court, as the court acted in the best interest of the absentee ward, Mr. Lee.
Prosecution, give me your best shot.
Your Honor, my client, Mr. Lee Chon, was injured more than the minimum lesion set by Article 1381. Although the court did approve the sale of the property at half of the original amount, the appraisal is still questionable as the appraising agent had not renewed his expired license a month before, and the affiliated real estate company had posted lower quarterly earnings during such transaction. Thus, the lower appraised value reflects poor performance of the appraising company and the scarcity of their transactions. With the two of these irregularities combined, I invoke the exception of Article 1386, as this qualifies as an instance where there is strong, clear evidence that the contracts entered by Attorney Tannen did not follow due process, as the authoritative parties involved had questionable credibility.
Alright, that's enough. As Attorney Peter's argument is more convincing than the black cross is wearing, this court recognizes the exception of Article 1386. TV folks, this is not a formal court hearing, so better not waste your time watching this show.
And back to you, Joshua. That last part better be edited out. I'm not taking a pay cut.
That was a very intriguing and baffling case indeed.
That's right, Joshua. Next up, we have Frances to tell us all about our next report.
Let us now know about Article 1387. It generally states that all contracts by virtue of which the debtor alienates property by the gratuitous title are presumed to defraud the creditors unless it is proven otherwise. This provision establishes prima facie presumptions of fraud in the case of transferring of properties by the debtor of his property. And now, let's start with alienation by gratuitous title.
Miss Jean, it's already due date today. Where's the 100,000 pesos you borrowed from me?
But ma'am, I don't have any money right now.
Alright then, give me your properties which are worth 100,000.
But ma'am, I already gave my land properties to my friend. I don't own any properties anymore.
From this situation, it indicates that the donation of Miss Person A to her friend is done to defraud her creditors even though she knows that she has many debts to pay for. Thus, the donation is presumed fraudulent unless it is proven otherwise. And as for alienation by owner's title,
Miss Minnie, here's that note that contains the title of the land and...
Hold on, why you're giving your assets to her when you need to settle your debts to me first?
Oh, Mr. Mean, I didn't say there. What I'm giving to Miss Minnie is not my land. It's...
Don't even make excuses. I know that your other creditor filed a case against you. Even though I'm not the one who filed it, I have the right to rescind your contract with me.
indeed, Miss Person B has the right to rescind the contract between Person A and Miss Minnie. Article 1387 states the decision or attachment did not have been referred to the property alienated. Reporting to you live, Frances Castro. Back to you, Joshua.
Thank you for that, Francis. That was a riveting case indeed.
I agree, Joshua. Well, for an even more exciting case that will surely stimulate all your brain power, let's have the next report by Marinel.
Good day, everyone. This is Marnell reporting to you live. Article 1388 states that whoever acquires in bad faith the things alienated in fraud of creditors shall indemnify the latter for damages suffered by them on the account of the alienation. Whenever, due to any cause, it should be impossible for him to return them. If there are two or more alienations, the first acquirer shall be liable first, and so on successively.
In order to avoid paying my debt to Cesare, I believe I should sell cap my car.
I am aware of Anissa's intentions. I will return the car because the transaction was cancelled, but cover the cost of the damage.
The purchaser in bad faith who acquired the object of the contracts alienated in front of creditors must return the same if the same is rescinded, and should it be possible for him to return it due to any cause, he must indemnify the former. Should there be two or more alienations, the first acquirer shall be liable first, and so on. That's it for Article 1388. Back to you, Lisa.
That was a really insightful report. I learned a lot from it.
Now, to keep us on the roll, here's a short showcasing of our next and equally insightful report.
Mary is an owner of a beach house in Cebu. One day, she just left the property without notice, and no person was appointed to manage the said property. Daisy, a family friend, had the initiative to take over the beach house for its management. On December 16, 2021, a death typhoon destroyed many buildings in Cebu. So it happened that Mary was watching the news when this was reported.
Oh no, my beach house might be damaged. I shall return soon.
Meanwhile, in Cebu,
This is bad. I might sell some of this land to repair the damages.
I am willing to buy a parcel of your land. How much is it?
Really? This portion of land is worth 15 million pesos.
It's too much. I'm only offering 10 million pesos for that.
That's too low, but I need the money now to repair the damages. Okay, let's sign a contract.
Okay, deal. The sale of land did happen, making Minnie the owner of the parcel of Mary's land. However, a year later, Mary returned to her beach house. Upon hearing the news about the sale, she was angry and immediately called Daisy.
Daisy, thank you for taking over the beach house, but I have to rescind the contract.
Mary can rescind the contract because the lesion is more than 1/4, also because the contract is within 4 years since the absentee's domicile was known.
Yes, that was perfection indeed.
But we're not done yet because the next report will surely provide new knowledge to our viewers and intrigue them as well. Georgia, the floor is yours.
Thank you for that, Alyssa. Good day, our dear viewers. My name is Georgia, reporting live about Article 1390, where it ponders about voidable contracts, together with Andre. Andre?
Yes, Georgia. Here's an example of a voidable contract. Minnie and Daisy entered into a contract where Minnie would give her baby to Daisy. And if Daisy doesn't accept, Minnie would hurt the baby.
Oh no, what a horrible situation. Out of fear and intimidation, Daisy gave her consent to the contract. This is an example where there is a violation of consent through intimidation.
This contract is binding but can be annulled by a proper action in court. If Daisy filed case against Minnie, annulment will be pondered upon by the next article. So that's it for Article 1390. Back to you, Lisa.
Thank you for that wonderful report, Georgia.
And now, moving on to another fabulous report, let's call on Kendrix Larada.
This is Kendrix Larada reporting to you live. According to Article 1391, the action for annulment shall be brought within 4 years. First, in cases of intimidation, violence, or under influence, the period shall begin from the time the defect of the consent ceases. Second, in case of mistake or fraud, the period shall begin from the time it was discovered. Third, in case of contracts entered into by minors or incapacitated persons, the period shall begin when the guardianship ceases. For better understanding, let us provide an example. Minnie was intimidated into signing a contract on January 1, 2022.
Your signature in the contract, or your house on fire. The choice is yours, Minnie.
Okay, fine, I'll sign it.
The intimidation ceased on March 1, 2022. When should the 4-year period for annulment begin? In January or March? It shall begin on March 1 when the intimidation ceased. Now to continue, let us call Christine Verdenio for the next report.
Thank you for that, Ken. Moving on, Article 1392 states the ratification extinguishes the actions on a voidable contract. Ratification occurs when one voluntarily adopts, approves, or consents an effective contract which is not binding to him. Thus, the ratifier comes back to the contract. The effect of ratification removes the defects of the defective contract. Thus, the contract becomes valid, and the action to annul a voidable contract is extinguished. That's all for Article 1392. Back to you, Alison.
Thank you for that magnificent report.
That was magnificent indeed. But I'm pretty sure that our next report won't lose out in any way as well.
Carmen and I will be reporting on Article 1393. Can you tell us what this article all about, Carmen?
Of course, Ives. According to Article 1393, ratification may be effected expressly or tacitly. It is understood that there is a tacit ratification if, with knowledge of the reason which renders the contract voidable, and such reason having ceased, the person who has a right to invoke it should execute an act which necessarily implies an intention to waive his right.
To further understand this article, watch this.
Hello? The color of the shoes delivered is not the one I ordered.
Oh, please give me a minute to check, ma'am. I apologize. We accidentally sent you the white bear, ma'am.
It's okay. I'll just pay for the remaining balance. How much is it?
Since you already paid for the 50% down payment, you only have to pay the remaining 50%, which is 3,500 pesos, ma'am. I received your payment, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Although the buyer did not receive the shoes in the color she ordered, she took the due to pay for the balance. There are two kinds of ratification: express and implied, or tacit ratification.
Article 1393 also discusses the requisites of ratification. For implied ratification, there must be knowledge of the reason which renders the contract voidable. Such reason must have ceased, and the injured party must have executed an act which necessarily implies an intention to waive his right.
For express ratification, the requisites are the same as implied ratification, but the former is effected expressly.
That's it for Article 1393. Back to you, Alyssa.
Thank you for that. That report went beyond my already high expectations, and I can't help but say that I am truly amazed.
That's true, Joshua. Now I wonder if our next report will be on par with the report that we just heard. Moving on.
Good day, magandang araw, maayong adlaw mga kababayan all over the Philippines. This is Grace Galan reporting to you live. In the previous articles, it is reported that ratification is done to cure the defect of lack of authority in an authorized contract. But what if the contract was made by an incapacitated person? In today's article, we will talk about Article 1394. Ratification can be effected by the guardian of the incapacitated person. In this article, a contract entered into by an incapacitated person may be ratified by the guardian or the injured party himself, provided he is already capacitated. As legal representatives of their wards, guardians have the power to contract on their behalf. Hence, they may also ratify contracts entered into by their wards. Article 1394 also states that in case the contract is voidable on the grounds of a mistake and other similar things, ratification can be made by the party whose consent is vitiated or impaired. Let us take a look at the scene. Kiara, a competent, able-bodied person, became insane when she found out her boyfriend was cheating on her.
Am I missing something? Is there something wrong with me? Am I ugly? Am I fat? Am I not replaceable? Then why?
While in that condition, Kiara then entered into a contract with a plumber to repair her personal bathroom. This contract can be annulled as it has been entered into by a person who is incapacitated. However, Kiara is the ward of Irene, which means that Irene can make express or tacit ratification of the repair, especially if it will redound to the benefit of Kiara, her incapacitated ward. As you can see, Kiara being insane makes the contract voidable. Irene, being the guardian of Kiara, can express or imply ratification to cure the defect of lack of authority between Kiara and the plumber's contract, especially if it will contribute greatly to the benefit of Kiara. This is Grace Galan, and always remember na lamang ang may alam.
Thank you for gracing us with that wonderful report, Crisel.
Indeed. Well, let us move on to the next and equally amazing report.
Yes, we are no longer with our frustrated caller, Grazel, who is seeking for legal advice. Let us hear from her. Grazel?
I need your help. My cousin Claudio sold a parcel of land that cost 1,500,000 pesos to Mina when he was still a minor. Now that he is already 20 years old, he is not planning to repudiate the contract. Instead, he wants to collect the balance of 400,000 from Mina. My question is, does he need Mina's consent to ratify the contract?
It seems like a confusion of consent when ratifying a contract is the problem that you got there, Grazel. Let us hear what Attorney Bernadine has to say on line 2. Attorney?
Hi there, Grazel. I'm Attorney Bernadine. From what I heard, the contract that Claudio entered with Mina when he was still a minor is voidable, as he was incapable of giving consent. Now that he is of legal age, he can either ratify or annul the contract. As you mentioned, he is choosing the former by collecting Mina's balance. As to your question whether or not he needs Mina's consent when ratifying the contract, the answer is no. Article 1395 states that ratification does not require the conformity of the contracting party who has no right to bring the action for annulment, as ratification is a unilateral act. Therefore, only Claudio has the right to waive the defect in his consent, even without the consent of the other party, or in this case, of Mina. You still have any questions?
I see. Thank you so much, Attorney Bernadine and Roxelle. I am now enlightened about the matter.
You are very much welcome, Grazel. Thank you also for shedding light on this matter, Attorney Bernadine. Back to you, Alyssa.
Wow, that was quite amazing and wonderful indeed.
Moving on to our next article that is aptly titled, From What Time Shall the Cleansing of the Voidable Contract Retroact? Quite a feisty title, if I must say so myself. Well, here's Bianca to give us the details.
Thank you so much, Joshua. According to Article 1396, ratification cleanses the contract from all its defects from the moment it was constituted. This means that the cleansing of the voidable contract retroacts to the time of the institution and not only by the time it was ratified. Furthermore, the retroactivity effect does not prejudice the rights of a third person acquired before the ratification.
Nathalie, who is a minor, sold the dog given by her mother to Neil, who is of legal age. However, the sale is generally voidable due to Nathalie's minority. After a few months, Nathalie finally reached the age of majority or the legal age of consent and decided to continue the contract of sale between her and Neil. Nathalie contacted Neil and expressed her intention of pursuing the sale, which Neil also agreed upon. During the past months before the date of ratification, the dog, which is the object of the contract, gave birth to 2 cute little puppies, which will also be owned by Neil upon the ratification of the said contract.
As we have seen in the video, the contract was voidable at first, but as the legal consent was furnished, ratification could already be done by the seller, which waives his or her rights to annul the contract. An individual can no longer recall or revoke that action as long as they have full knowledge of all the circumstances. And upon ratification, even if Nathalie ratified the contract after the birth of the puppies, Neil will still be entitled of its ownership, because the retroactive effect of ratification which cleanses and validates the contract from the date it was constituted. This means that the rights to the fruits of the object will be given to Neil on the exact date of their agreement, and not the date that Nathalie decided to ratify it. However, we should also keep in mind that the subsequent ratification by Nathalie of the sale to Neil should not prejudice the rights, if ever, there is a third person involved. This is all for Article 1396. Back to you, Joshua and Eliza.
Wow, just wow. My goodness, that was amazing.
I agree with you on that, Joshua. It was really something indeed. Now for a bit of cinematic twist and showbiz, moving on to our next report.
47 Station's one-on-one interview with the now 19-year-old pop star, Kim Kardashian, delved into the star's clash with the law for the second time in 4 years. The teen pop star rose into fame at the tender age of 13 with her hit song, Maprisuka, Agoy. After a string of success in both music and TV series, the media has dubbed Kardashian as a magnet for hit songs and viral videos. However, it seems as if that's not the only thing she attracts. The teen pop star is once again caught under another legal issue, this time over the sale of a piece of land to her current manager. To develop a better understanding of the issue, 47 Stations also invited esteemed lawyer, attorney Aliga, to give a breakdown of the law Miss Kim Kardashian has allegedly broken.
So Kim, tell us about this legal issue that you're currently facing.
First of all, reporter Mimosa, I just want to tell my fans that although this is a very trying time, I am fine. And I'm working with the best lawyers money can buy. And that my makeup line, Kenty Beauty, is coming out this Friday. Anyway, about my legal issue. I don't think we can really call it an issue. I mean, how was I supposed to know the land was barren, right?
So what you're saying is that Miss B was fully aware that the land was barren and yet she still decided to buy the land?
I mean, no. She told me that she wanted to buy a piece of land so that she could plant green stuff and farm snake or something. I told her that I have a piece of land and offered to sell it to her. She asked me if it was healthy. I said, yeah. Like, that land was so useless and nothing ever grew there, so I just sold it.
To clarify, you knew that the land was barren and yet you still said it was healthy and sold it to her?
The land's not barren. It's just that nothing ever grows there.
Exactly, it's barren. And it also says here that you stole the same piece of land to your stylist, Mr. C.
Oh yeah, Mimosa. It's called sharing.
Now what do you have to say about that, Attorney Aligal?
Well, according to Article 1397, no action for the annulment of contracts may be instituted by all who either by apply principally or subsidiarily. You see, there are two requisites for a person to bring an action for annulment of a contract. First, the plaintiff must have an interest in the contract, and second, the victim and not the party responsible for the defect is the person who is pushing for the annulment. If Miss Kim Kardashian had been the one to demand an annulment of the contract, then that would be allowed as she was a capable person in the contract. Seeing as the victims of the fraud were Miss B and Mr. C, then either of them could demand the annulment. Thus, Mr. C is well within his rights to annul the contract.
What you're trying to say is that Miss Kim Kardashian is the guilty party in this case because of fraud?
Yes, that's right.
And there you have it, dear viewers. The end to another interesting scandal from the famous teenage pop star. Stay tuned for tomorrow's news. Teen pop star Kim Kardashian has been caught driving under the influence. This has been Chismosa, reporting for Article 1397. Back to you, Joshua.
Wow, that was quite an interesting and exciting report that really brought our Marites blood to the forefront.
That's true, but we're not yet done, folks. After all, we still have a few reports left. Moving on to the next one.
Annika, a young entrepreneur, wants to open her business at the building of Diane, given the fact that the building is located in the heart of the city. She contacted Diane and both parties have entered into an agreement. Miss Diane agreed to lease her building to Danica for a monthly lease of 10,000 pesos for a 1-year contract. Both parties agreed to the contract and decided to meet for the signing of the documents and payments. Upon their meeting, Danica paid in advance the full payment amounting to 120,000 in check. The business of Danica went well, but after 4 months, the business incurred losses, thus Danica decided to relocate her business to another site.
Hello, Miss Diane. I'm sorry to say this, but is it possible to annul our contract for the building? I'm afraid that I won't be able to continue my business here, ma'am, because the sales went really down in these few months.
Oh no, sorry to hear that, Danica. But yes, we can annul the contract. But the only amount that I can give to you is 80,000 since we've already used the building for 4 months. I can no longer give you the full payment.
It's okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for
No problem.
Article 1398 provides a general rule that when the contract is annulled, the parties must listen to each other in the subject matter of the contract, including its fruits and price thereof. In this case, Danica must return the building, however the lessor is not informed to return the full amount the friend received, but only the corresponding unexpired 8 months. This is Axel J. William reporting. Back to you, Alyssa.
Thank you for that, Axel J. That was quite the dramatic and climactic report. Don't you agree, Joshua?
Indeed, the overall progression was just straight out of a movie. Anyway, moving on to our next report that is obviously equally as exciting and lovely.
Trina and Chelsea are siblings who entered into a contract. Trina, who is in the legal age, lent her younger sister, who is a minor, to borrow 2,500 for school purposes, which is to be paid by Chelsea when she turns 18. After a year, Chelsea celebrated her 18th birthday and is now of legal age. Trina was short for budget since she already used her allowance for buying the things needed in her laboratory class.
What's the problem? Is there something I can help you with?
I actually have plans to go out with Migo today, but I have to cancel our date because I have used up my money to buy materials for our lab experiment. I only have 20 pesos here. What can I do with this?
So, Ernest, remember that you let me borrow 2,500? I can give you that money. incapacity of one of the parties, the incapacitated party is not obliged to make any restitutions except insofar if he has benefited from the thing or prize received by him. Chelsea is considered to be incapacitated before her 18th birthday as she is still a minor at that time. However, since she is already at her legal age, she must pay her sister back the prize that she benefited from the prize that she has received. This is actually really end reporting. Back to you, Melissa.
That was another splendid report that really piqued my interest.
It was a very sublime report that is very, very interesting. But I don't believe that the next report will fall far short from it.
Good day. And now, a break from all the live reports is a dramatization of one of our viewers' very unfortunate experience. Let's look into the story coming right up.
Well, thanks for having me in your small but lovely home. It's a bit of fresh air from my mother and your friendship.
It's my pleasure, madam. It's good to know you still remember your high school BFF.
Well, of course. Anyway, that horse over there, is it yours?
What? She's not for sale. She's a family to us, so I suggest you to buy another horse.
Girl, you must understand, I don't take no for an answer. My husband owns the company we're in. If you continue to be stubborn, you'll be jealous. Oh, and I have friends in the level profession. I will make sure to give you up your husband, and that's so easy time, if you know what I mean.
Honey, what's wrong?
Or worse, I was forced to sell her the firm for a huge sum because the hag intimidated me into entering the contract.
What did you say?
She threatened my job as well as yours.
That is unacceptable. Don't be too scared about those intimidations. The right thing to do now is to petition to the court for the annulment of said contract.
I already did, but I just received the news now that the mother poisoned our horse in anger because her prize plans have been eaten by the horse. The only thing left of her is her young colt, which was born days after the sale.
I'm so sorry to hear that, honey. I'm pretty sure karma will get her soon enough for what she did to our horse. Though, here's a legal perspective on this. Under Article 1400, whenever the person obliged by the decree of annulment to return the thing cannot do so. Because it has been lost to his fault, he shall return the fruits received and the value of the thing at the time of the loss, with interest from the same date.
Well, can you elaborate?
This means that your evil señorita, high school friend, must pay the value of the horse at the time of its death, with interest from the same date. And since the horse gave birth, then the young must also be delivered as fruit of the animal.
I get it. It sure does hurt to lose the horse. But at least I get to keep her young one, and I'll protect the colt from any evil presences this time around.
That was indeed a sad turn of events. Kudos to our viewer's attorney husband for applying the principles Article 1400. Back to you there.
That was quite an interesting report.
Now that certainly didn't fall short from the previous report. Now let's see if our next report will continue to match that energy.
Good day, this is Michelle Youngren reporting. In this segment, we're going to tackle Article 1401 of the Civil Code and once again help Mr. Sad and Miss Breach to settle their argument. So, what seems to be your problem?
Her! She forced me to sign a contract, and now I have a house. I don't need a house. I already have a mansion.
Is this true, Miss Breach?
Fine, I'll admit it. I forced him.
In this case, Miss Breach, it seems that Mr. Sad does have grounds for the annulment of the contract.
But the contract can't be annulled. I won't allow it.
See? The audacity! What makes you think the contract? I won't allow that.
You destroyed my house. How could I return you the money when you give me a broken house? No, I won't allow it.
Oh my, Mr. Sad, is it true? Did you destroy your house?
Actually, I did do that. I was so angry at being lied to that I let my emotions take over me.
Well, if that's the case, then Miss Breach is right. The contract cannot be annulled.
Huh?
According to Article 1501 of the Civil Code of the Philippines, the action for annulment of contracts shall be extinguished when the thing which is the object thereof is lost through fraud or fault of the person who has the right to institute the proceedings.
You got lucky this time, Breach. But I tell you, you can force me to another contract again. I'm not the same pushover set that I was 2 days ago.
Fine, I get it. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess somehow the conflict has been solved. This is where my report ends. Once again, I am Michelle Youngren, delivering the news of Article 1401 of the Civil Code of the Philippines.
That was amazing. Now this certainly isn't the least among the reports that we've had so far, but it definitely is the last.
That's right, Elisa. Just thinking about the last report, it's gonna be all giddy at the edge of my seat. Alright, without further ado, let's take a look at our last report of the day.
Good day to all of you. I'm Severino Bastante reporting. I'm currently here in SMC side to report to all of you an example of Article 1402 of the Civil Code of the Philippines. Hello, I am Severino and would like to interview you since your situation is a good example of Article 1402.
Hi, I'm Pat, and what happened was...
This is a good gift to my best friend.
Hello, this is Tom from Joshua. How may I help you?
Hi, I would like to avail a commission. By the way, great artwork pieces. I would like to commission a vector art with a portrait of $5. How much would that cost?
Maybe around 2,000 pesos. I need a picture representing the final invoice. Will you please send it to me now?
Lovely. I'll just message you via your Facebook page. Okay, sending out a picture.
Are you looking for me for the month? Yes. I'll now make her an invoice so that she can send her payment.
Okay, so I can send my payment via Gcash and payment sent.
Payment out!
This is no.
Contract is now annulled. Miss Cloud, please return the art to Tom, so Tom will be able to process the refund of the payment transaction to Cloud.
It
It makes no sense to return the car to you. Just let me have my refund.
Yes, I have returned the payment because the art being returned to me. The court already says it. And according to Article 1402, as long as one of the contract parties does not restore what the virtue of the decree is annulled, he is bound to return. The other has been compelled to comply with what has been incumbent on him.
And that's what happened. With the scam, right?
Well, Miss Cloud, I think Tom is right. Because again, according to Article 1402,
Ugh, not you though.
okay, so she ran off. And that's an example of Article 1402. I am Severino Bastante, reporting the Article of 1402 of the Civil Code of the Philippines. Back to you, Miss Eliza.
And that's a wrap, everybody. That's all the reports we've had prepared for you today.
That's right. Those were the juiciest, hottest, and most important reports that you had to know about today. We hope you all enjoyed and that you found it as interesting and exciting as we did. This is Noshad Bon and Lisa Winkley from 47 News Channel.